Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You're listening in using your computer's speaker system by default. If for any reason you would like to change your selection, you can do so by accessing your audio pane in your control panel. If you are experiencing a poor internet connection, we suggest that you select telephone and dial in using the number displayed. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's presenter by typing your question into the question pane of the control panel. We will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Questions cannot be submitted verbally, only by typing. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. However, we encourage that you send them in early if you'd like them to be addressed in today's Q&A. We may not have time to answer all questions in this session, but those we don't touch on today, we will address in later webinars or through our FAQ. If your question is specific to your agency, we will follow up with you directly. At the end of the webinar, you'll be sent a very short survey. Any feedback you can provide is greatly appreciated. I would now like to introduce Grant McDonald from Insurance of New South Wales.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody that's joined the first of the webinar series that we're hosting for General Lines Claims. My name is Grant McDonald, and I am the General Manager of Claims, and I am responsible for overseeing the implementation of the transition from GIO to Gallagher Bassett as part of the new operating model that we have for General Lines. So as I said, this is the first in a series of webinars, so be kind with your feedback. The purpose of the webinar is really to tell you about why we're changing and where we're up to in this process, give you the chance to meet some of the team from Gallagher Bassett, our new claims partner, talk through lodging claims from day one, what will change and what won't, give you an opportunity to ask us questions that you might have at this stage, and we'll tell you how to connect with us so that we can get in touch as we move forward, including details of the next webinar. So as a bit of background on what we're doing and why we're doing it, we started a process in early 2017 where we had a range of conversations with a number of our agency partners to really talk to them in detail about their experience with claims, what was working and what were pain points. We also talked about other parts of the insurance life cycle and the role that we could play and what was expected of us. From there, we've more recently embarked on a program of detailed exploration with a number of agencies, which includes over 30 hours of workshops and face-to-face interviews so far this year. For us, it's been a case of working hard to understand the processes that you've adopted over a period of time for lodging claims and the subsequent management of them. And for us, it's about understanding how that process works and making sure that your day one experience is seamless. The conversations that we had at the beginning of last year, the key messages that came through were that you were looking for a partnership approach to delivering better outcomes for you in managing claims. You were looking for choice in the way that the claims were being managed. You didn't want to be involved in a one-size-fits-all process. And you were having big demand for accountability, not only for iCare, but for our partners in this process in terms of delivering outcomes. In that respect, we've developed a new operating model that is customer-centric, reflecting your experiences and the best of what is available in the commercial market. We're using a modern and agile technology platform that will provide a richer source of data over time, and we will be providing flexibility in managing claims, whether it be through self-service or supported capability throughout the life cycle. So where are we up to now? As I've indicated, Gallagher Bassett are our new general lines claims provider. And where we're at is in-depth knowledge transfer program happening between GIO, who are the current provider, and GB. This includes testing, refining processes and systems, and some of that is being done in consultation, particularly where there are interfaces with established platforms. Here at Insurance for New South Wales, we're working closely with GIO, GB and agencies to make sure that you're supported and ready for the change, and this webinar is part of the tools that we'll be providing to support that. In terms of timing, from May the 1st, Gallagher Bassett will be managing all new and existing liability and miscellaneous claims, including construction risk, while GIO will continue to manage property and motor claims. From the 1st of June, GB will take up the management of all new and existing property and motor claims and, in essence, have total control of the portfolio from that point on. GIO will continue to provide support to ensure a seamless transition throughout as part of their obligations and partnership. So for the agencies, it's BAU up until the end of May. It's BAU up until the 1st of May, and then the transitions continue from there. So the main change is who you will contact for claims. So how did we get to choosing Gallagher Bassett? The approach that we took was the development of requirements through the second half of last year, which resulted in a tender process where we went to the market. For those of you that have been through the procurement process, that you will know that it is a very robust process, and ultimately we chose the best-in-class partner. The proposition that Gallagher Bassett bring is that they have an adaptable partner-based approach. Claims management is their core business, and more importantly, they shared our purpose, vision and values. Our partnership with Gallagher Bassett will deliver the following benefits to the agencies: a reduction in claim time, an increase in how effectively claims are managed, and this can be delivered either through the technology, the utilisation of suppliers, or just through improved processes. We will also look to tailor processes for different types of claims, so moving away from the singular approach. And we will have data-driven decisions to inform how we progress claims through the life cycle. Initially in terms of triage, but then as we reach certain milestones through the life of it. And having the data will be key in terms of driving improvement through our processes. So I'll now hand over to Scott, who will introduce himself and the team.
Thank you very much, Grant. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Scott Newland, and I am the National Operations Manager for Gallagher Bassett for General Insurance. And for those who don't know a lot about Gallagher Bassett, we're a third-party claims administrator. Globally, Gallagher Bassett has more than 50 years in managing general insurance claims for services to large and complex customers. Gallagher Bassett has been in existence since 1962, when the organisation was formed to manage the first true multi-line self-insurance program in the USA, and we've been managing general lines claims ever since. In Australia, we've got more than 20 years experience providing similar services, and we entered the Australian market with an acquisition of a loss adjusting firm known as White Group in 1997. One of our first TPA clients was Elders Insurance, who outsourced their entire general lines claims department to GB. Since this time, we've established ourselves in Australia as Australia's service provider of choice to government and large insurers, the status that was confirmed at the 2017 ANZIIF Awards, with GB being named Service Provider of the Year to the industry last year. There's a number of other awards that we're very proud of in terms of being a highly ethical company with robust corporate governance and controls, and we've been listed among the world's most ethical organisations by the Ethisphere Institute every year since 2012. We have a very large dedicated operation for Insurance for New South Wales, led by Karen Fagg, and we have services right across all the products to ensure that best in market claim service are in place to support the new model. iCare's Insurance for New South Wales new claims management model, in partnership with Gallagher Bassett, is supported by an innovative and tailored technology claims workflow solution, enabling a better experience and an enabler for delivering a better outcome. Our approach to business and the model will extend not only to iCare, but the agencies as well, and incorporates a commercial mind and social heart, with all of our staff in training with iCare to ensure a true partnership. Our entire business is claims management, and it receives 100% of our focus, which is a significant point of differentiation. Preparation for this partnership, our focus has been on a smooth process of the runoff of GIO through to GB. We've been working closely with iCare and GIO in ensuring that the relevant touch points and the process is planned for runoff. There's been an incredible amount of focus on supporting the customer experience and the agency experience as we roll out the improved functionality of the new model. A number of testing, dry runs and claim reviews are now well in train to ensure that we're up to speed when we go live for day one. Fantastic. So in terms of talking about continuity of service from Gallagher Bassett, we have a number of dedicated pathways for notifications and lodgements, and at a minimum mirror your current experience. Part of the focus for us has been understanding the agency needs, and a key goal for us is to make the change for claims agents as smooth and as effective as possible. Our key understanding in agencies, current experiences, but also to understand the future needs as we move through this transition. In terms of Gallagher Bassett's capability and continuing recruitment into the team, we're well underway with over 3/4 of the team recruited. In terms of the actual structure and framework of the team, we're defined in terms of our product lines and with a number of support services for both agencies and iCare relationship. In terms of claims lodgement for day one, there are multiple entry points through for the iCare portal, and logging into the iCare portal, up on the screen you'll see a screenshot of how that can be accessed via iCare and the iCare website.
So what we've done with the portal is we're creating an environment where it becomes a single point of entry into Insurance for New South Wales, and in time all of the claims system managers will have their portal that you'll be able to access through that. In addition to be able to accessing those capabilities from the claims managers, it will be the repository for documents, training, getting access to events, and general information about the performance. It'll also be the facility where you can access ClickShare, which is the reporting. In addition, we will provide services for the certificate of currency and requesting that, as well as the asset management system, which will be rolled out in the coming months. All current channels to lodge a claim will remain available: phone, email, fax, and online. And you can also send it through the mail if that's what works for you. Online lodgement will still be an option. Where you would have gone through the GIO portal in the past, online forms will be lodged via the iCare portal. So from May, for miscellaneous liability and non-TMF claims, that functionality will be there. And from June, property and motor claims. The portal will also provide support tools and information for the general lines portfolio, and over time we'll build it out to support workers' compensation as well. We'll be in touch with you soon to help you register for the portal if you don't already have access.
In terms of the process for how will I lodge a claim from day one is up on the screen. You'll see that there's an image of the dashboard being logged in. You would select on the tab for claims and then go to the nominated product, whether that be motor, property, liability, and enter through the particular form. At this point, you've got access to a digital form or PDF form, as you would fill out today to then send via email. If you were to go through the digital form, the draft example is up on the slide now. Mandatory information is required and is indicated on the form. If the mandatory information is not included on the submission, a message will advise or highlight the fields that are not completed. On submission, an auto message is displayed on the screen to confirm successful submission of the form. And then within minutes, an email will be returned either confirming lodgement with a claim number and advising you that the information has been reviewed by a claims consultant who will be in contact, or confirming that there was an issue with the information entered into the mandatory fields and that a claims consultant will be in contact shortly to verify the details. As the completion of the mandatory fields is controlled prior to submission, the most likely cause of this would be policy number not being valid. Once verified and information is updated, an acknowledgement email and claim number will be issued. Agents can either use their internal reference number, and this will be linked to the Gallagher Bassett issued claim number. Once the claim has been assigned and reviewed by a claims consultant, a further acknowledgement will be received confirming the consultant's contact details, claim summary, and any further information that is required at that stage to progress the claim to the next steps. For example, what is happening with the assessment. Prior to May, you will receive an information pack which will include the PDF versions of the lodgement or notification forms by line of business to enable you for each of the agencies to upload to the various intranet sites to be available for day one. More about day one in terms of the claims experience. There is an after-hours service 24/7. Assessment and repair. As we go through transition, Gallagher Bassett recognise your preferred providers and arrangements that are already in place with networks of repairers and assessors. We will continue to look at the calendar for claim reviews, and activities will be put in place for 4GB from July throughout the rest of the year. And as we work through the reporting requirements, we will continue to use the tools that are available to us, and one of those which is available to both the agencies and Gallagher Bassett is that of Click, and we'll continue to work with you to ensure that that's embedded throughout the network.
Thanks, Scott. So we've got a couple of questions that have come in, so thank you for doing that. The first question I'll throw to you, Scott, is what are GB's SLAs and will they choose when they move from GIO?
So Gallagher Bassett service standards for claims management are consistent across all the agencies. With respect to third-party provider performance indicators, the Gallagher Bassett preferred providers are managed according to consistent and agreed service standards. And we're currently working closely with iCare and the agencies to ensure that we maintain or enhance the current level of service that you experience today.
popular question come through. What is the time frame for having a repair assessed and repaired?
So in terms of motor vehicle assessment, for motor, on average, through our partner AAMC, the service offering sits at 5 days. However, depending on location and damage type, that may come in earlier, or it may require longer, depending on the receipt of current SLAs.
Can agencies have immediate authorisation for emergency repairs?
Yes. Agencies will be able to have immediate authorisation for emergency repairs.
You talked earlier about recognising agencies' preferred repairers. Does GB have a network of preferred suppliers, and how do agencies access this?
So yes, Gallagher Bassett do have an extensive range of network suppliers. Specifically, if I talk about motor, we leverage off a partnership with AAMC, and they have a large network scale. So at the time of lodgement, if you don't have a motor vehicle repairer of choice, we will be able to assist with getting the car to a repairer that is convenient and close to the proximity of where they'd like it. In terms of the legal panel remain the same and is accessed via the legal panel gateway. And we also have a network of preferred suppliers. In most regards, the third-party suppliers will be the same companies as those used previously by GIO. Agency-nominated preferences advised to Gallagher Bassett will continue to be respected. And for motor, just highlighting again that we currently use the AAMC network for having the vehicles repaired and fixed. However, if there are agencies that have preferred relationships, we're more than happy to have those included. And we know from the information being shared with iCare that there are specialist and emergency service vehicles that need repairs to meet specified standards, and we will work with those agencies to support this, making sure that we understand their needs.
Okay. That's all the questions that we've got at the moment. So I just want to talk you through the plan is to run these webinars every couple of weeks through March and into June as we move from GIO to GB, and there will be lots of stories to tell as we stand up the operations from the 1st of May and 1st of June, and we'll keep you updated in terms of how all of those things are doing. We will provide regular updates via the Loop in Brief, which is an agency newsletter focused specifically on claims. And information will be made via the iCare portal, which is just one more reason to register. The webinars and FAQs will be posted here following the sessions. So how do you register for the portal? The link will be emailed out to you after this session. And one of the keys for enabling registration is that it must be done with a newsouthwales.gov.au address. We encourage you to register as soon as possible to make sure that your access and permissions is set up before the 1st of May. Our next webinar is scheduled for the 17th of April. All webinar details and recorded sessions, as I say, will be available on the portal, and we encourage you to invite your colleagues to register on the portal to get access to the information and upcoming events. As we move through to May and June, we will need to reach out to you over the next few months for some important information, updates and checkpoints to make sure that we're connecting with the right people in the organisation. And in that regard, it'd be appreciated if you could send us an IT contact who deals with security and access, and that could be as simple as an email address for your network support. And the reason for that is that we want to address any issues that may come up with your access to our platform. The other request that we have is for you to help us identify the best person or people to liaise with to ensure that they receive the documentation pack when we send it out. And we're specifically referring here to the claim forms. How do we assist you to ensure that they get uploaded onto your intranets and the like? This documentation pack will be released prior to the next webinar on 17 April. And additionally, can you keep us updated at any claim contact changes over the next few months? The best email address to contact us is coming up on the slide that you're about to see. And there it is. We're keen to hear from you in terms of any questions or queries that you might have. So please send them through to that email address. It'd be appreciated if you could preface your question in the subject heading with Claims Webinar 1 so that we know to follow you up directly with this session with those details. Ideally, we'd like to get your questions by next Wednesday so that we can ensure that they are included in the next webinar. And I'd just like to wrap up by thanking you for attending and listening today, bearing with us. You know, we still have our training wheels on, so we will get better at this. We hope that the session has given you some confidence about the changes and answered some of your questions. And we look forward to connecting with you again in the next session.
Thank you, Grant and Scott. Just a reminder that we will be sending you a short survey for your feedback on this webinar. Your input is very valuable and it will help us to design future webinars that will meet your needs. Thank you and goodbye.